Welcome to the Rise Above show, where we rise above our challenges and turn believers into achievers. I want to take a moment and thank our sponsors, 133 Approved Funding, because they say yes when the bank says no. They've been able to help businesses keep their doors open and keep people employed. But ever since the global pandemic, many people are starting new businesses and reaching out to 133 Approved so that they can get funding to start their own businesses. And they also, another service that they have is consumer funding. They're able to get financing for clients of people like myself or my guest today, Shelley Decken from Hello VR Plus, so that people can get our services to help move them forward. So I want to take just a quick moment and introduce Shelley. Let me tell you a little bit about her. She's going to be a speaker on our upcoming Rise Above Summit in October in the social dimension of life. Shelley is a former member of the Canadian military. She has extensive experience in HR, office management, relationship management, and virtual assisting. She's known as the relationship building boss, and she is now a certified OBM, which is an online business manager. She now helps entrepreneurs build and expand their successful businesses with everything that is involved with it, including building an online business next to your brick and mortar life. The challenges of the daily grind can feel overwhelming, and she feels it. But, her systems and processes help her get through it all, and she helps other people with their businesses make it through it too. Oh, so happy to have you with us, Shelley.
Thank you very much for inviting me. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, so excited. So let me kind of introduce you a little bit more. Shelley has been helping me out as my online business manager. So you guys, many of you have seen the growth that I've had with my business, and it has been because having the right people in the right places makes all the difference when you're trying to do something with your business. So thank you, Shelley. And
You're welcome.
yeah, so what is it that we're going to talk about today? Because I know you have a special it's a tool. It's almost a secret
It is a
weapon.
tool. It is a tool.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll just start off with maybe a little bit of a description of what an online business manager is.
Yeah.
And then we'll move into, I love tools, and I think that tools can be extremely handy. And this tool is a godsend. But I'll just give you a little bit of a background of what an OBM is and how they can help a company, right? So, everybody chooses to go into business for a multitude of different reasons. And us in the small business world, we tend to do it as solopreneurs. And hopefully, everything goes well and you're able to grow and you get to a point where you're like, man, I'd really like to grow farther, but I'm one person and I'm already noticing that I can't get all of my ideas out there, or I've got some great plans and I'm just not capable of getting that done because, as you said, and as I like to say, you have two lives. You've got a brick and mortar life. That's your family. In some instances, it's an actual business that's out there in what we would call the real world. And then you also have your online interpretation of business. So trying to, keep all of those plates spinning in the air at one time can be a real challenge. And unlike if you're in a brick and mortar business and you bring employees into your business, you usually have them in the office. And it's a little bit easier for you to keep control of what's going on and to manage them on however whether you're a manager, a leader, whatever that happens to be. In the virtual world, it becomes increasingly more difficult. You bring different people on, and then you find out that you now have to not only provide them with what they need to do, but you've got to keep an eye on what they're doing. You've got to make sure that they have enough tasks to offset the amount that you're paying them. And it can just get a little bit much. So that's usually when an OBM comes in. You're at that point where you need to expand. Maybe you've already started to expand and you just need that extra help because you can't be there to tell people what to do. You can't be there to see what they're doing. You can't be there to have those conversations with them that keep them moving forward. And that's a big struggle that I find a lot of clients have. So an online business manager, they do all of that behind the scenes office stuff so that you get to be in your genius.
Wonderful.
So
Thank you. Yeah.
that
So
in a
go ahead.
nutshell
Go
is what
ahead.
we do.
Yeah. So just, and again, it is all about having those right people in the right places doing the right thing so that you can move forward, so that you are working your business, not necessarily working in your business.
Exactly,
And to
right?
be able to,
We're a jack of all trades when we're a solopreneur, and it can be a struggle to stop being that jack of all trades because you can no longer fulfill all of those functions. So we create teams, we do all that work to make sure that the work gets done. So of course, one of the big things that OBMs do is they bring systems and procedures into your business to allow your business to function more autonomously. So we use a little bit of the systems to create automation. And then we also make sure that procedures are in place so that they can be easily followed and things can be completed. And with that in mind, I am attached to a company that has just brought out a new service, which is called networking. And it's the ability for you to allow a system, an artificial intelligence, to go out onto the internet and scour the internet for all the information that a person has out there. And so when you want to talk to that person, if you have done that previous work by hand, you know how daunting it can be when you have to go out there and do all the research. What company do they work for? How much does the company make? What are the company's problems? How do you see yourself fitting into that problem? What kind of personality does the person you're about to have a conversation with have? What are their strengths, their weaknesses, and how can you identify and speak to them in a way that they are going to be receiving it the easiest? And so networking, this program, actually does the majority of the work for you. It provides the information that we all know we need, but we don't always go out and get. If you've ever experienced, and I'm sure, Patty, that you've also experienced this, you have a couple of clients or a couple of prospects, and you want to call them, but you don't want to make a misstep. You don't want to say the wrong thing or introduce the wrong product when that's not what they're looking for. And it can give you a certain amount of maybe I'm not going to make that call today because I don't think I know enough about this person. And if I lose this client, this prospective client, then who am I going to have?
Those are those what ifs and buts. But the great thing about this tool, Shelley, this is a secret weapon. So I'm excited that we're talking about this today because it is a secret weapon because of what the artificial intelligence is able to go out and gather information on these people. So it could be, and like you said, it could be a company that I am looking at approaching for what I do, and actually maybe as a corporate sponsor, it makes that for who I am going to be doing that presentation for and having that conversation with for any aspect of my business. So,
exactly.
Yes, it's so exciting.
So as you can tell by Patty's understanding, we actually did a personality enhancement and personality profile for her. So it's two separate steps. The first one is an enhancement. So when I receive somebody who has chosen to join my subscription list, or maybe they have accepted a landing page and I've got a magnet page, maybe it was something that I created that they wanted to grab, and they gave me their name and their email address or their name and their phone number. And I might be able to find them on Facebook and I might be able to find them on LinkedIn, but I don't know where to find them all over the place. Maybe I don't have their phone number, right? So the enhancement option goes out, scours the internet, and comes back with all of the information that you would need for the demographics of who they are. So you get, you get contact through LinkedIn, Twitter, WhatsApp,
Instagram, right?
Instagram, yeah, all of those. And if they have any type of a connection out there, then you're going to receive that information. So you don't have to go looking for it anymore. It's not a case of, ooh, they only gave me an email address, so the only way that I can communicate them is with email. Or they only gave me a phone number, so the only way that I can communicate with them is by phone number. Now you have all of the forms and ways to communicate with them. But when you click on the personality profile, that is really where the magic comes in a day. So it's usually overnight. You will receive what, again, it takes all that information that it's received from the enhancement, and it goes out and it uses a personality program. And I'm sure that a lot of people have heard of these. Myers-Briggs, the Color. There's a couple of other ones out there that aren't coming to my mind at the moment, but what usually happens is a person goes into that program and they answer a bunch of questions and it pops out their personality. The interesting thing about this is captured over time from all the information that's been put on the computer. So it is, as Patty can attest to, extremely accurate. And the personality profile that comes back, it's 7 pages long. And from a personal standpoint, it's a little, oh my God, I can't believe that information's out there. But from a business standpoint, the value that comes from it is unbelievable. We were able to, first off, identify what type of personality Patty had. And we know that she's an innovator. And of course, most people here would know that she's an innovator because that is what she does. But then it told me things like, what doesn't she trust? How to talk to her when I'm having a conversation with her. It tells me, how to make a presentation that's going to be best received by Patricia. It tells me what is not going to be best received. And it will even go all the way down to giving you some tips and some hints on wording that you may use, because Patricia's more accepting of those types of words. And again, I understand that from a personal standpoint, this seems a little bit like, whoa, that's a lot of information. But if you're in business, this information is gold, and it can be used in so many different ways, right?
Yeah.
So I know I sent you some questions. So why don't we move on to the question side of it? Did you get the questions?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay, no problem.
So, but you can go ahead. But what I was going to share with everybody, our viewers and listeners, realize, and if you don't realize, make sure you realize and your children realize, again, anything that you put out on social media, it is there. It is there. People can look at that and determine and do these types of things and get who you are.
And it's all legal. Nobody's hacking anything. Right. This is all legal information that is on the internet. And it's absolutely true. Your children need to understand that, especially, 5, 10, even now, HR will look at whatever they can find on the internet to pre-qualify you or pre-dismiss you as a qualified lead.
Exactly. And they're using companies, tools just exactly like this. So it's
large companies have been using this for a very long time, but it takes quite a bit of time, or it used to take quite a bit of time to gather this type of information, right? So we know that researching potential prospects before your first email or call can make a world of difference in the outcome, because you now have context to what you're actually talking to them about, right? You get a feeling of the challenges that they have that your product can alleviate. And you have to create this relationship. That's why it's called a networking system, because it's not about using all the power that you have to sell. Right. It's about knowing how to build a relationship with every single person out there, so that when they're ready to purchase from you, they're comfortable and they know that they're getting what they require, right? So never bypass that. And I'm not going to suggest that you grab this and just, use it for evil.
Right. And Shelley, again, I love what you said. And if somebody wants to be successful in business, and especially in this day and age, it is all about that relationship. It is
It
all
is.
about, the what's in it for them, how we can help somebody move forward in a positive direction. Yeah, and it
Exactly.
is. And it doesn't matter what industry you're in. Right now, people
No.
have, especially since we've had the global pandemic, people have been able to take a step back and say, look at how many people are like, well, do I need to be spending money on this, because they've had to reevaluate their finances. So with them doing it for that, they're like, okay, they're more serious about when they are spending the money, where they're spending it, how they're spending it, and who they choose to spend it with and on, right? So
Sure.
this is very beneficial. This tool is fantastic.
And the reality is that over the last few years, clients, customers, they are usually doing a little bit of research themselves before they make a choice. And so they come to you and they've already done a lot of the research. So they know you a little bit. They at least know what you're offering, and they've already started making some preconceived ideas. So the conversation, the connection that you make with them is that much more important, right?
Oh, by all means.
So, I didn't want to bring up and actually post Patricia's profile here because, with great information and great power comes great responsibility. And so I didn't want Patricia to end up with a whole bunch of phone calls from people who wanted to try and sell her something based on her personality profile.
But it is funny. So Shelley, I allow you to share some of these because you have it right in front of you. You can share some of the stuff, what would be shareable or not, but just to show people, because upon doing this, it was very interesting from how it is for the person that is doing it and doing the research, and as far as like if you're doing a research on yourself and what you find, because I was like, okay, I'm not going to know how I will respond to this. Am I going to be, because this is real, this is what is out there. This is how you, as my viewers and listeners, this is how you see me. And it is really that. I mean, it blows my mind, but what she was able to dig up from this is how I am seen by the world, because it's taken everything from all of my social media, from LinkedIn, from everything, right? Everything that they could find.
Exactly.
The artificial intelligence has gathered all that information and threw it back at my face, basically. So here, this is you in a nutshell, and it's very,
Yeah,
very cool. But
exactly.
I was a little kind of like, okay, what am I going to find out? But I really, I am.
I'm not going to bring it up at the moment just because I didn't plan on it, so I can't find it readily.
Okay.
And I know I sent you a copy, but I really, when we sat down to see what it had, I know when I had mine done, I was like, whoa, wait a minute. I'm not sure I want everybody to know this. And that's a natural thing. The next step, as somebody who tends to look at, when I look at if something's gone wrong or if something wasn't done properly, I usually look internally, right? Some people look externally, who did this? Why did this happen to me? What did they do that I need to fix? And then other people like myself go, okay, what did I do? What have I not done? How am I going to fix it? So it's very internalized. So that is my personality. Again, it shows up on my personality profile. And so the first thing that I looked at was, wow, I need to figure out, how do I go out into the introverse and make changes to it? Because there were a couple of things on there that I thought were not great when I first looked at it. I was sitting there going, ooh, I don't like that. I don't like the way they worded that. That doesn't make me sound, as thrilled as I want to be. And then, of course, as I read over it and I had time to really absorb it, I realized, okay, none of those are negative things. They are who I am. They're part of my personality.
Right,
And I'm
exactly.
never going to be able to cover those up. So that's okay.
Right.
When we did yours, again, you said, well, let's record this so that we can
Yep,
see my reaction.
exactly. Because
I
I
want to know what
wanted
my
to see,
reaction is going to
yeah.
be. And the interesting thing about Patricia Jo Grover is that her online presence is her. It's everything her, and she does not make excuses. She does not mind any of her flaws. This is absolutely her. And so when she saw her profile, she was like, no, that's
That's
me,
me.
right? The good,
Ta-da!
the bad, the ugly, this is it,
Right,
right?
exactly.
And
Ta-da!
yeah. So I invite anybody who would like to find out about how this personality profile works to connect with me. I'm happy to run a personality profile. Of course, I have had instances where nothing has come back. So my sister, when I told her about this, she was like, oh my God, I want to know what my profile is. And I went to run her enhanced her enhanced profile. And it came back saying there isn't enough information for us to create an in-depth profile from her. And so I had to go back to her and say, I'm sorry, but I can't give you one because you don't have enough presence. Now she doesn't work online. She's not a business owner. She has a job and she has a computer, but it's only used for gaming outside of her work. So she doesn't really have a whole lot that would be on the internet, but
Right.
she still wanted to know. And I ran it. And when I told her that the system came back and said there wasn't enough information, she's like, oh, I'm happy about that.
Right.
Because as you said, as an employee, as somebody who's going out there and saying, this is who I am as an employee, you don't necessarily want all that information there, right? Because not all of it's good. So she was quite happy about it.
Right.
So
yeah, that's the thing though. So she doesn't do a lot online. So a lot of stuff is not going to be there. That information cannot be gathered that way.
Exactly. Yeah. And so, and that's okay, right? It tells you right away. We can't produce it. If you give us more information, maybe we can help you. But sometimes there just isn't enough information. And the nice thing about this system is if you go out and you ask for that information and it comes back saying we don't have enough, you'll have to give us a little more information for us to be able to retry again. They don't charge you for it. It doesn't cost you anything if that happens.
Which is a good thing in a way, because then if somebody wants to build themselves and their presence, then they know where to start building from,
That's true.
And how to go, about that in a positive way. Because again, anything that we put out there on social media, anywhere, it's amazing that all that information can be gathered, and that is who we are, and that's how other people perceive us.
Yeah. And some of the interesting things that have come up as this has developed and as I've had time to, really think about how can this product be used by a small business owner. And I was thinking, one of the things that large businesses do with this type of information is they create a marketing plan based off of their ideal client. And so can you imagine if you took your top 5 or 6, and again, we're going to talk about a similarity between Patricia and I that make us a perfect match for working together. But when you take your ideal clients and you run an enhancement and a personality profile of them, you start to see similarities, right? Because the same types of people come to you. And so if you now have those similarities in front of you, you can now start building a social media plan, a theme around your ideal clients to bring in more people who are like that person, right? So that's how large businesses use it. They go out and they say, okay, so what is this? What are my most ideal clients like? Now let's make sure we're marketing to them. Let's make sure all of the stuff that we put out represents that type of person. So imagine the power from a small business standpoint of being able to say, hey, these are my top 5 clients. These are all the similarities. Now I am going to promote my graphics, my conversations, my articles, my posts on social media, specifically around that group. And if you've got more than one group, you're going to start to see them gathering, and you can start building on that. So it's powerful, very powerful.
Very powerful. However, you're going to market, because we all know we have different client avatars, and
We do, yeah.
and so when you can really dial those things in, like Shelley, you said you were surprised at how dialed in I had one of my avatars, and when you can do that, and then you can plug that to a personality and attach that to who that person is, that can help. And for the advertising dollar and where your focus and where that's going, that makes a big difference. And
well, we already know, Patricia and I have had conversations with somebody who actually has virtual assistants that go out and gather this information.
Right.
And from our studies, we know that it can cost you like $250 a person,
right,
to really gather all the relevant information that's required. Right. I am doing enhancement personality profiles through my system for people to test out for $5. And you get a chance to have your personality profile and know what the internet is saying about you. And then, you know, and I expect Patricia will take advantage of this because we've talked about it. But when she's got, you know, an ideal client that she thinks she's going to be able to do some great work with, she'll be able to connect with me. We'll be able to run an enhancement profile, and she's going to have all the relevant information before she starts to engage with the client, and know how to come by them. And on top of that, know if they're a right fit, or even if she wants to engage with them, because, you know, that's information that comes to you. When I was talking about how Patricia and I work together, one of the reasons why we work so well together is because we're very similar. Our goals are very similar. Our mission and vision to how our businesses are seen by other people and how we want to present, they're very similar. So Patricia always likes to say that Shelley knows my crazy. And, you know, I guarantee you that Patricia knows my crazy, because we are very similar and we've been working together for a while. So it's not always about finding the exact person who's your perfect match, the same as you, but sometimes it's about filling in the gaps. Exactly. Stop people that you need because you don't have that skill set, because you don't have that personality, and it needs to be introduced. So there's so many ways. And I hope that this has given people an opportunity to get their brain going about what value this could actually bring.
Yes. So Shelley, where can people find out more about you? And do you have any special gifts for our viewers and listeners today?
Well, if a person gets a hold of me and they want their personality profile for themselves, again, I can't guarantee that the system will give one. It really depends on your presence online. But if you connect with me, I will run a personality profile on you for free. Ooh. So that is my free gift for today. It won't be forever, but I'm excited that people get to find out about themselves, a little bit about themselves, and it gets their juices flowing on how they can see using this with their network, with their tribe, with building their teams within their business or company. So
okay, so Shelley, would you say that you would do this through the end of the upcoming summit?
Yes, actually, that's a great, because I know that these shows are a little evergreen.
Right.
So we're going to say that this ends on the 10th of October, 2021.
Okay, wonderful.
And we're going to drop a link for my Calendly so that people can book an appointment with me, and we'll go through it.
Exactly. Wonderful, Shelley. So happy to have you on with me sharing this powerful tool. So for anyone who'd like to find out more about Shelley, what's your website?
My website is hellovrplus.com.
Okay. Wonderful.
And if you're looking for the personality stuff, it'll be under the swipe tools.
Okay. And for anybody who'd like to find out more about me, you can go to patriciajogrover.com. And I have gifts for the viewers and listeners. If you're in the continental United States, if you text the word GOAL, GOAL, to 26786. And if you're outside the continental US, just text the word GOAL to 1-866-926-4020. And I want to take a quick moment again to thank our sponsors, 133 Approved Funding. If you have questions, reach out to me and I will give you their information. And I have a little video for you. Thank you again, Shelley, for being with me.
Have a great day.